Chapter 2 of the Singing Mouse Stories. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Joseph Eric. The Singing Mouse Stories by Emerson Hough. Chapter 2. The Burden of a Song. The Singing Mouse came out. Quaintly and sweetly and with wondrous clearness, it began an old, old song I first heard long ago. As it sang, back with red electric thrill came the fine blood of youth, and beat in pulse with the song. When all the world is young, lad, and all the trees are green, and every goose a swan, lad, and every lass a queen, then hey, for boot and saddle, lad, and round the world away. Young blood must have its course, lad, and every dog his day. And young blood began its course anew, booted and spurred into the saddle again, face toward the west, and off for round the world away. There are green fields in Thrace, sighs the gladiator as he dies. And here were green fields in the land before us. Only these were inimitable and illimitable fields of nature, sheets and waves and billows and tumbles of green, oceans unswum, continents untracked of thousandfold green. Then on beyond the grey-brown, the purple-grey of the higher plains, nearer than that, a broad slash of great golden yellow, a band of the sturdy prairie sunflowers, and nearer than that, swimming on the surface of the mysterious wave which constantly passes, but is never passed on the prairies, bright red roses and strong larkspur. And at the bottom of this ever-shifting sea, jewels in God's best blue enamel. You cannot find this enamel in the windows. One must send for it to the land of the unswum sea. A little higher and stronger piped the compelling melody. Why, here are the mountains, God bless them. Nay, brother, God has blessed them with unbounded calm, with boundless strength, with unspeakable peace. You can take your troubles to the mountains. If you are Pueblo, Aztec, you can select some big mountain and pray to it, as its top shows the red sentinels of the oncoming day. You can take your troubles to the sea, but the sea has troubles of its own and frets. There is commerce on the sea, and the people who live near it are fretful, greedy, grasping. The mountains have no troubles. They have no commerce. The dwellers of the mountains are calm and unfretted. And on the broad shoulders of the mountains once more was cast the burden of the young man's troubles. And once more he walked deep into the peace of the big hills. And the mountains smiled not, neither wept, but gravely and kindly folded over about behind the grey mantle of the canyon walls, and locked fast doors of adamant against all following, and swept a pitying hand of shadow, and breathed that wondrous unsyllabled voice of comfort which any mountain goer knows. Eh, the goodness of such strength! Up by the clean snow, over the big rocks, by the lacework stream where the trout are, why, it's all come again. That was a clink made by a passing deer. That was the touch of the green balsam. Smell it now. and here comes the mist, folding down the top, and there is the crash of the thunder, and this is the rush of the rain, and this is the warm yellow sun over it all. Oh, singing mouse, singing mouse! Back again, now by some impulse of the dog which hasn't had any day. It is winter now, I remember. Singing Mouse and I am walking by the shore of the great inland seas. There is snow on the ground. The trees look black in contrast as you gaze up from the beach against the high bank. It is cold. It is dark. There is shiver in the air. There are icicles in the sky. Something is flying through the trees, but silent, as if it came out of a grave. I have been walking, I know. I have walked 1,000,000 miles, and I'm tired. My legs are stiff, and my legging has frozen fast to my overshoe. I remember that, and so I sit down, right here, you know, and look out over the lake, just over there, you see. The ice reaches out from the shore into the lake a long way, and it is covered with snow and looks white. I can follow that white glimmer in a long, long curve to the right. 20 miles or more, maybe. Yes, it is cold. But what is that out there? And what is it doing? It is setting all the long white curves of ice afire. It is throwing out hammered silver in a broad path out there on the water. Those are not ripples. That is silver. There will be angels walking on that pathway before long. That is not the moon coming up over the lake. It is the swinging open by some careless angel's mischance of the door of the white city of rest. How old, how sore, a man climbed up the steep bank. There were white fields. In the distance, a dog barked. Away across the fields, a bright and cheery light shone out from a window, and as the moon rose higher, it showed the house which held the light. It was not a large house, but it seemed to be a home. Home? What is that? I wondered, and I remembered that I pulled at the frozen legging and moved with pain, the limbs grown tired and sore. And as one looked at the twinkling, comfortable light, how plainly the rest of the old song came back. When all the world is old, lad, and all the trees are brown, and all the sports are stale, lad, and all the wheels run down, creep home and take your place there, the sick and maimed among. God grant you find one face there you loved when you were young. The light in the little house went out. I think it was a happy home. May yours be so, always. End of chapter 2.